Alright, so I've got my home light mode, dark mode. I've got my status light mode, dark mode. I've applied my home down here. I'm going to go ahead and reset this to white, and then change my mode back to light. You do a fair amount, or you should do a fair amount of rearranging, so I'm going to get these things kind of out of the way. That's kind of the neat part of Figma, and the weird part of Figma is that they're so independent that you got a lot of options. It kind of makes it confusing at first. Alright, so now we're going to create our nav bar, and we're going to do it in kind of a methodical way, so that you can kind of understand the kind of precision that can be made, or achieved rather. Okay, so I'm going to just start with a rectangle and draw a box for my nav. It's going to remember the last color I picked, which is this kind of weird gray color. Notice it's in front. That's why it puts layers on top. So I'm going to send this to back by pressing the square bracket icon. I'm sure it's under arrange. Maybe not. It's under object, send backwards. So bracket or command bracket. So this is going to be the basis for my nav bar. Sorry for that jump. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in. So here's my nav bar. You can turn the grid on and off. You have to select the frame, which can be kind of difficult. So I'll zoom out, click the top of this guy. If we go here, we can turn that grid off. But I want it on for now. Okay, so I'm going to make this a very light gray. And instead of drawing a bar, I'm going to use the stroke. So I'm going to go to stroke. I'm going to choose a kind of mid-gray. And if you look here in the stroke palette, you can just choose top. So I'm a big fan of trying to make this as efficient as possible in terms of having less objects to worry about, less things to worry about. I'm going to rename this rectangle back. Okay. I'm going to zoom out, Command 1. I'm going to grab this home icon. And you can copy it or just drag it. And I want to use all the icons possible. So in the iPhone, you can have up to 5 across the bottom. So I'm going to drag that there, grab that object, Command or Shift 2. Now I'm back up there. I'm sorry, I do a lot of zooming in and zooming out. So I'm going to have 5 across, not 8, but I am using this 4 pixel grid. Notice that my icon is divisible by 4, both by length and width. So it should be 32 by 32. That just equalizes things, makes it sharper in terms of its render, and just kind of makes it easier when you're trying to make decisions on placement. If you just kind of keep those set numbers, it makes things a lot easier. And I think a lot more visually clean and appropriate and nice to look upon. So it makes a lot of sense to kind of use these, to bring these other icons there just to kind of get the setting. But just know, all of this work that we're doing is just to kind of get our mind right and our eye right. But we're going to make the nav bar into a component, and we're going to make each one of these icons a component as well. So a lot of these icons are just filler at the moment. So I just copied all those icons, and we'll zoom in. Big fan of that shortcut. Okay, so if you get the right one, you know, I'm going to use 4 pixels from this side, and I got 4 pixels from this side. I get this one in the center, and then I can use the align palette up here to use the computer distribute horizontal, so all these are equal. And then once they're like that, you've got this option of kind of shrinking them in and out equally, which is very cool. And let's go ahead and center those. But like I said, all these will eventually be an icon, or they'll all be components. So when it comes to these little doohickeys, I do think like even though they're top aligned and center aligned, it seems like this should be these two guys should be a little lower, and this should be a little higher, because I kind of view these as kind of extras. Anyway, let your eye determine that. All right, now that we've got things placed, we'll go ahead and start making our components.